The average worker spends 40% of their income on things they never consciously chose. You wake up, you go to the office, and you assume the paycheck is the reward. But that money is actually a tracking device. Every time you upgrade your lifestyle, you are not buying comfort. You are buying a longer sentence inside a system that was designed to make you feel like you are winning while you are actually losing ground. Consider the last time you received a raise. It was supposed to be a victory. You walked into the office, you negotiated your value, and you walked out with a higher salary. That evening, you probably felt an itch. Maybe your car felt a little too old, or perhaps the neighborhood you lived in suddenly seemed beneath your new status. Within 3 months, that entire raise had been absorbed by lifestyle inflation. You did not get richer. You simply made your cage more expensive to maintain. This is the central paradox of the modern professional. We are conditioned to believe that income is the primary lever of wealth. We are taught that if we want more, we must earn more. But earning more is useless if your cost of living is tethered to your gross income. Your employer does not care if you want to be free. They care about retention. They know that if they pay you just enough to buy a nice car and eat at decent restaurants, you will never leave. You become a luxury prisoner. You are too comfortable to quit, but too trapped to build anything of your own. Think about the subscriptions you pay for every month. There are the ones you use, certainly. Then there are the phantom services, the streaming apps you opened once, the gym membership you visited in January and never touched again. A person who acts with intention audits these things. A person who is merely surviving lets them accumulate like sediment in a pipe. These small, invisible costs are the sandbags on your hot air balloon. You wonder why you are not rising, why your net worth remains stagnant despite your annual promotions and your hard work. It is because you are leaking energy in a dozen directions at once. The psychology of this is fascinating and deeply unsettling. We have a tendency to view our money as a reflection of our identity. When we earn more, we feel we deserve to live better. We mistake consumption for achievement. We purchase the status symbol to show the world we are succeeding, but the item is actually proof that we are still working for someone else. Every payment you make on a depreciating asset is a vote for the status quo. It is a vote for your current employer to keep you for another 5 years. If you want to understand why you feel stuck, look at your monthly burn rate. Most people do not know what their burn rate is. They assume that as long as the bank account is not overdrawn, they are doing fine. But being fine is the enemy of being free. If your expenses are 90% of your income, you have no leverage. You are forced to accept the conditions of your employment because the alternative is a total collapse of your lifestyle. You have built a fortress, but the walls are made of glass. One unexpected event, one missed paycheck, and the whole thing shatters. The system relies on your lack of awareness. It relies on the assumption that you will continue to spend as you earn. It relies on the belief that a promotion is a reward rather than a trap. If you were to keep your expenses exactly where they were 3 years ago, even while your income doubled, you would be a different person today. You would have the capital to invest in an exit strategy that does not require your constant labor. You would have the option to say no. Most people fear the word no. They think that saying no to a lifestyle upgrade or a status symbol is a form of deprivation. They are wrong. It is a form of reclamation. You are reclaiming your time. Every dollar you choose not to spend on an upgrade is a dollar you are investing in your exit strategy. This is not about being cheap. This is about being strategic. It is about understanding that your life is a finite resource and that money is nothing more than stored labor. When you trade your life for money, and then trade that money for things that keep you from being free, you are effectively paying to be a servant. You are paying for the privilege of working for someone else. It sounds harsh because it is true. The discomfort you feel when you look at your bank statement is not a sign that you need a higher salary. It is a sign that you are misaligned with the reality of your situation. You are trying to buy your way out of a system that is designed to keep you in. Look at your apartment. Why are you living where you are? Did you choose it because you genuinely enjoy the space, or did you choose it because you thought it was what a person at your career level should have? We follow a script written by people who want us to continue working until we are too old to enjoy the money we saved. We follow the script of the promotion and the upgrade and the vacation that we cannot actually afford. We are playing a game where the house always wins. The only way to win is to stop playing by their rules. This starts with a radical audit of your life. Not just your finances, but your impulses. Why do you feel the need to impress your peers? Why do you feel that your value is tied to your title? These questions are uncomfortable. They are meant to be. If you are not willing to be uncomfortable in the short term, you will be forced to be comfortable in a prison of your own making for the next 40 years. True financial independence is not about a specific number in a bank account. It is about the ability to choose your own path without the fear of immediate catastrophe. It is about having a margin of safety that allows you to experiment, to build, to change, and to fail. If you are spending every cent you make, you have zero margin. You are living on the edge of a cliff, pretending the view is worth the risk. You need to shift your perspective on what assets are. Most people think their salary is their primary asset. It is not. Your primary asset is your ability to generate value that is not tied to a time-based paycheck. When you buy things, you are consuming your wealth. When you buy assets, you are deploying your capital. A car is a consumer good, a piece of equity, a small stake in a business, or a skill that can be sold independently. Those are assets. We are told that we are in a competitive market. We are told to climb the ladder, but the ladder is leaning against the wrong building. The people at the top of the corporate ladder are often just as trapped as the people at the bottom. They have higher costs, more responsibilities, and less time. They are just as dependent on the system as anyone else. They are the luxury prisoners. They have the most to lose, so they are the most afraid to change. Do not be the person who works for 20 years just to realize that you could have been free in 5. The difference between those two outcomes is not luck. It is not a promotion. It is the conscious decision to stop inflating your lifestyle when your income increases. It is the discipline to live below your means while you build your means. It is the wisdom to realize that the most expensive thing you can buy is your own dependence. You might argue that you need the car for your commute or the apartment for your professional image, but these are justifications. There is always a justification for spending more. The system is very good at providing them. You convince yourself that you are just keeping up with the standards of your industry, but those standards are arbitrary. They were set by people who want you to remain a cog. If you truly want to escape, you have to be willing to be unconventional. You have to be willing to drive the car for 10 years. You have to be willing to live in a space that is smaller than what you can afford. You have to be willing to endure the judgment of people who think you are weird because you are not spending your money on the latest trends. They are the ones who will be working forever. You are the one who is building a bridge to the other side. Every decision you make is a signal of your priorities. If your priority is status, you will spend your money on status symbols. If your priority is freedom, you will spend your money on assets. You cannot have both. At least not at the beginning. You have to choose, and the choice is made every single day in the quiet moments when you are looking at your expenses. It is made when you decide to invest the surplus rather than go out to dinner. It is made when you choose to learn a new skill rather than watch another series. Consider the cost of your exit. If you want to leave your job, you need to know how much it costs to sustain your baseline. If your baseline is high, your exit is expensive. If you can lower your baseline, you can exit sooner. It is simple math, yet almost no one does it. They do the opposite. They raise their baseline to match their income, effectively pushing their exit date further and further into the future. They are running toward the finish line while the line is being moved backward. There is a strange silence when you realize this. You stop looking at your paycheck as a reward and start looking at it as a toll. You start to see the office for what it is. You start to see the consumption for what it is. You start to see the path toward freedom, and it looks very different from what you were told. It is not about a flashy lifestyle. It is about the quiet dignity of having your own time. You have probably felt this tension for a long time. You have probably felt that there is a better way to live, but you could not quite name the obstacle. The obstacle is your own desire to conform to a lifestyle that you did not choose. You are the architect of your own entrapment. You are also the only one who can tear it down. Taking control begins with total honesty. Stop lying to yourself about why you buy things. Stop telling yourself that it is necessary. Admit that it is a choice to prioritize comfort over the possibility of a different future. Once you admit that, the power dynamic changes. You are no longer a victim of the system. You are a participant who has decided to change the game. Start by tracking every single expense for the next 30 days, not just the big ones. The coffee, the subscription, the service fee. Put them all in a list. When you see the total, you will be shocked. You will see clearly where your time and your life energy are going. You will see exactly how much you are paying to stay in a job you do not love. After you have the data, make a change. Cut the unnecessary, then redirect that money. Do not just save it. Save it for the purpose of acquiring an asset. Use it to buy your way out of the cycle. This is the only way to break the pattern. You must stop being a consumer of the system and become an owner of your own destiny. This is not a quick process. It takes time to build assets, and it takes time to change your habits. But the alternative is worse. The alternative is the slow, steady decay of your potential as you spend your best years chasing a lifestyle that only benefits your employer. You are worth more than that. Your time is worth more than that. But the only way to prove it is to act on it. Look at your life from the outside. If you were a consultant hired to optimize your own financial freedom, what would you tell yourself to cut?
And actually wave a dead. Lowlates. What about?
What would you tell yourself to invest in? Be the consultant. Be the one who is not afraid to say the hard truths. Be the one who values freedom above status. When you start to see money as a tool for leverage rather than a tool for consumption, everything changes. You start looking for ways to spend less and invest more. You start looking for ways to build systems of your own that provide value to others. You start to realize that the 9-5 is just one way to trade your time, and it is rarely the most efficient way. There is a world of opportunity outside the walls of the corporate structure, but you cannot see it if you are too busy maintaining the walls. You have to lower the walls. You have to simplify your life so that you can see the horizon. You have to be brave enough to live differently than the people around you. In the end, it comes down to what you value most. Do you value the approval of your colleagues, or do you value the ability to wake up on a Tuesday and do whatever you want?
Yep.
Do you value the luxury car, or do you value the security of owning your time? You cannot have it all at once. You have to choose, and the choice is made every single day. Trade your consumption for your future. It is a quiet revolution. It does not happen on social media. It does not happen with a grand announcement. It happens in the small, boring, repetitive choices of your daily life. It happens when you decide to pack your lunch. It happens when you decide to keep the old car. It happens when you decide to learn something new instead of buying a new toy. You are the protagonist of your own life, even if you have been acting like a background character in someone else's plan. You have the power to change the trajectory. You have the power to stop the inflation of your lifestyle and start the accumulation of your freedom. It starts today. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to build your exit while you're still inside the system, without quitting tomorrow, without a dramatic pivot, and without anyone at work noticing. See you there.